right, so we had a 2 and a +4. So we're going to put those together. If you need your Desmos, you are welcome to type that in. A +2 and a +4 are going to give you 6. And you can also do the stacking that we did before so that you can see what you're supposed to be typing in. If you want to stack the other one, it was 1x minus 3x's, 5x's, and a minus 8x. And then you can also see what you're typing in with your coefficients. Here's your final answer. For number 2, let's fill in the missing pieces. So we have -6, parentheses 7 minus 4x. And then we are going to start doing our rules. We have the parentheses right here, and when we have a number right next to the parentheses, that means we're going to multiply. So I'm going to write times, and every time I go across that parenthesis, I'm going to say times. So -6 times 7. And again, if you are not feeling very confident with your integer rules, you can type in -6 times 7, and you can see your answer over here, which is a -42. And then we're going to do it again because you still have another piece, another term of your binomial. So we're going to do -6 times, and that's not just 4x, it is -4x. -6 times -4. Since this is a test, you want to make sure you're doing it right, so you can type it in to make sure that you know what you're doing. -6 times a -4 will give you a +24. +24, and I put that plus sign there to separate our terms, and these are x's. There's your answer. I would also accept the answer written with your x's first, 24x minus 42. Both of these answers will be full credit. For question number 3, we are going to fill in our missing numbers. We have x plus 3, and then we have, that's a -x minus 5. And remember, if you are pausing the video to see what you can do on your own, that is a really good thing to do so that you can see how successful you're going to be on the retest. First step, see if you can do distribution. So we are going to look, and yes, there's a 3 right next to the parentheses. This means times. And again, if you want to write that word so that you remember what you're supposed to do. There's no number in front of here. I just see the minus. So if you want to change that negative to a 1, -1, you can see what you're supposed to multiply by on your Desmos. 3 times a -1 is going to be -3, and it's an x. So -3x. And then we're going to do the same thing. 3, and it's a +3. 3 times a -5. And if you're not sure of your integer rules, again, you can go and type that in. 3 times, and again, that's a -5. Watch your signs, is a -15, because a positive times a negative is a negative. And you're just going to bring down this first piece that says x plus 3, and then that's going to be a negative, so that's our sign, that's our separator. So it looks like a minus now, and that's okay. Now we're going to combine our like terms. We have an x, we have -3x's, and again, if you need the number in front of that, it's like a 1. So we have 1, and then -3, 1x minus 3x's. I stack them so that you can see what you're supposed to type in. If you need to, again, you can type in 1 minus 3. We don't type in the x's, and that's going to give us a -2x. The rule is if they're different signs, you subtract. That's where the 2 comes from. There's more negatives, and that's why it's a negative for those of you wanting to challenge yourself and know the rules by hand. Then we're going to put together our plain numbers. And we have a 3 and a -15, so we have a 3 minus 15. And this together, you again can type those in. We have a 3 minus 15. And so you can see the answer is a -12. And that's your separator. Again, you have different numbers, a 15 and a 3. The difference is a 12. there's more negatives, so that your answer is a negative. Final answer. For question number 4. Question number 4, we have some missing blanks again. So this is going to be x minus 4 subtract 3x plus 4. Pause the video so that you can see if you can do this on your own, and then when you're finished, press play. Do we need to do any distribution? There is something right in front of the parentheses. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can remember to distribute your negative, but as we started to do distribution, a lot of you decided that thinking of that as a -1 might be easier to multiply by that -1. And again, whenever you go across that parentheses, you're going to think times. The button you press is times. So -1 times 3x is -3x. -1 times 4 is a -4. And if you would like to check yourself to make sure you know your rules, you are again welcome to type those in. And then this first piece comes straight down. We have x minus 4. And then we have what looks like a minus sign. That negative kind of looks like a subtract now. And that's okay. We're going to combine like terms. We've got an x, and remember that's 1x. Oh, 1x. And then we have a -3x. And you're going to type this in. 1 take away 3 is going to be a -2, and these are your x's. And then you're going to put your constants together. Your constants are your plain numbers without the letters. -4 and another -4. And if you type that in, it looks like -4 minus 4. Please be careful. When they are the same signs, you combine and you keep 4 negatives. 4 more negatives give you 8 negatives. And if you're not sure or want to double check yourself, you type it in. And you can see the answers match. That is a -8. Final answer.